Well, after the kids were born, I always took them to church. I even was a Awana leader, always worked in Bible school.
Growing up, my mom used to take me to church maybe until I was 10 years old. And my dad, he never went with us or anything unless it was Christmas or maybe Easter.
He would go for programs, watch Christmas programs or Bible school programs. And in my Sunday school class, they always had little parties, and I always felt out of place because I would be there, without my spouse, whatever.
I was raised in church till I was probably 15 years old, and I just basically, when Mom and Dad quit making me go, I quit. I got my license. It's not that I was a bad person. I really don't think I was ever a bad person. I just always basically put God off. I've just always had an excuse. I've always had an excuse.
So I quit going too, and things just rapidly went downhill. I wasn't raised in church. I always went to church with neighbors. And I really didn't want my kids raised like that, but I didn't want to go alone anymore. I had very bad bouts with depression. I had a pain pill addiction, almost took my life. Very bad.
Then I was just kind of on my own, and then every time I would go to church, it was just with my friends until I met Aaron. Whenever we started dating, I started going to church with him. Once we got married, it was 30 minutes away, and we just always made excuses of why we weren't going to church. And so then Todd Fannin kept talking to us about C3 and kept bothering us about C3.
He kept bugging me every day, and I kept asking him questions about what kind of church it was, and I knew a couple of people here, and he told me that they don't bring the snakes out and stuff like that, so it kind of made me more at ease. Once I did come the first day, I was hooked. I loved it here.
6 months after being here, we were in a small group with Trent and really got connected, and then we got baptized.
One day, Whitney said, "Mom, Aaron and I are being baptized. We want you and Dad to come."
I talked to Mom and Dad a lot about church, but I never really invited them just because they had never, really gone after, I was 10 years old, so I didn't expect them to start coming to church, but I did want them to come see me get baptized.
I wasn't going to miss that, and that really touched me.
So, we planned on coming, and we did come to the baptism, and we liked everybody. And about 3 weeks later, on Sunday morning, we were sitting on the couch, and Randy said, "I think we should get ready and go over to church this morning."
It stayed on my mind those 2 weeks, and I knew I needed to do something. And then I asked her, if she wanted to go to church, and we came here, and like she said, I've been in different churches, there was something here that I felt comfortable with.
And that one morning, Whitney came in behind us and said, "Aaron said he thought he saw your car in the parking lot." And I said, "No way." And she said, "And you were here." So that was a good feeling, that we had made her happy.
I'm not saying I'm not even beginning to say I'm perfect, but I was not a bad person. I've never been a bad person. But I just never made the next step. I've always put it off, and then I finally made the step. And I said, I told God, I'm not putting you off anymore. I'm going to, live my life for you. And we never quit coming after. We've always been coming, but it took me about 6 months because I always had an excuse. I've always had an excuse. Same with getting baptized. I gave my life to Christ in January, but still in the back of my mind, I'm still coming up with an excuse. After I came here, one of the things I've seen on this church that I've never seen another church like it is, I just think this church helps people, and I like that. That's what drawed me in. This church is different, and that's how I felt too. But it's almost like I had to come back to see what I knew there was something there. I had to come back to see what it was. And now I believe it's the outreach here and all the good things this church does, and I just want to be a part of it. And our lives are better since we came here.
We've been in a small group and really, really enjoyed it. At first we didn't know if we would or not. We're the oldest people in the whole group.
It's nice to see them get involved, and they're usually real conservative, conservative people that kind of keep to themselves, and it's nice to see them start getting connected to other people and helping people.
Probably my biggest change is with Sherry's addiction she had. that I've always I live in fear, that, you know, it's a day-by-day thing. And since we got in church, I'm not saying it's totally gone, but I don't have that fear like I used to.
What if we had never came to C3?
I don't think if we would have came here, I would have been in church. I don't know if I ever would have. I really don't. That's scary, but if I hadn't found this church, I'm not sure I would have ever went to church.
I don't know if we would have ever gone to church together. And now we are, and it makes a big difference when you're together. You're doing it as a team. I mean, even though our children are grown now, it still makes a big difference when you're doing it as a team. And like I said, we'll always be grateful for everyone here because they made us feel so welcome, and those big smiles on Sunday morning when you come in the door. I mean, that means a lot. That it really does mean a lot. And I'm looking forward to being a greeter because now I know how that made us feel when we were greeted like that. And we get to greet on Christmas Day, so I'm excited about doing that too.